Have you ever wondered if some celebrities are actually still alive? Could famous figures from the past have staged their deaths to escape the spotlight? What if those funeral ceremonies were just elaborate hoaxes? Number 6. Andy Kaufman. Did the eccentric comedian really die in 1984? Andy Kaufman was known for his outlandish pranks and performance art that often left audiences confused about what was real and what wasn't. His death from lung cancer at age 35 shocked fans, but rumors began almost immediately that his death was just another one of his elaborate hoaxes. Kaufman had reportedly talked about faking his death as the ultimate prank. He even told some friends he would return 20 years after his supposed death. When 2004 came and went without his reappearance, many fans were disappointed but still refused to believe he was truly gone. The rumors gained new life in 2013 at the Andy Kaufman Awards when a woman claimed to be his daughter and said Andy was alive and well, living a quiet life away from the spotlight. This created a media frenzy until it was revealed to be a hoax perpetrated by a performer. However, it demonstrated how powerful the legend of Kaufman's fake death remains in popular culture. Kaufman's writing partner Bob Zmuda has fueled these theories over the years by suggesting in interviews and books that Andy really did fake his death. Zmuda claims that Kaufman had discussed the plan with him in detail. While most evidence points to Kaufman truly having passed away from cancer, his reputation as a boundary-pushing performance artist keeps the mystery alive decades later. The 2015 documentary, Kaufman Lives, explored these theories but ultimately couldn't provide definitive proof either way. Kaufman's official death certificate exists, and his family has consistently maintained that he really did die in 1984. Yet the persistent rumors speak to Kaufman's lasting impact as an entertainer who blurred the lines between reality and performance so effectively that people still question the truth nearly 4 decades later. Number 5. Elvis Presley. Is the king of rock and roll still alive? When Elvis Presley died on August 16, 1977, at his Graceland mansion, millions of fans were devastated. But almost immediately, stories began circulating that the king had faked his own death to escape the pressures of fame. The conspiracy theories gained traction due to several unusual circumstances. Some fans pointed to Elvis's name being allegedly misspelled on his tombstone as Elvis Aaron Presley instead of Elvis Aaron Presley. Others claimed the body in the casket didn't look like Elvis or noted that his coffin was suspiciously heavy, suggesting it contained a cooling system for a wax dummy rather than a real body. Supposed Elvis sightings became a cultural phenomenon throughout the 1980s and beyond. People reported seeing him at a Burger King in Michigan, working as a highway patrolman in Louisiana, or living in obscurity in small towns across America. The National Enquirer and other tabloids regularly featured these sightings on their covers, keeping the conspiracy theory alive. Some believers point to a man named John Burroughs, which was a pseudonym Elvis occasionally used when traveling. According to the theory, someone purchased a one-way ticket to Buenos Aires, Argentina under this name shortly after Elvis's death was announced. This fueled speculation that Elvis had escaped to South America to live anonymously. The conspiracy gained such prominence that in the 1990s, the U.S. government actually addressed it. In response to a Freedom of Information Act request about Elvis, the FBI stated they had no information suggesting Elvis was alive or in hiding. Nonetheless, Graceland continues to receive letters addressed to Elvis, as if he's still collecting his mail. Each year on Elvis's birthday and death anniversary, gatherings of fans at Graceland include not only those mourning his passing, but also those who believe he's still out there somewhere. Although most serious Elvis biographers and those who were close to him confirm that he did indeed die of heart failure in 1977, the myth of his survival has become an enduring part of American popular culture. Number 4. Michael Jackson. Did the king of pop really die in 2009? When Michael Jackson was pronounced dead on June 25, 2009, fans worldwide were shocked and devastated. But almost immediately, conspiracy theories emerged suggesting the pop superstar had orchestrated his own death to escape debts, legal troubles, and the relentless pressure of fame. One of the main pieces of evidence conspiracy theorists point to is Michael's ambulance ride to UCLA Medical Center. Some claim footage shows Jackson sitting up in the ambulance despite supposedly being deceased. Others analyzed the helicopter footage of a figure leaving the hospital and concluded it wasn't actually Jackson's body being transported. The conspiracy gained momentum when CNN accidentally published a pre-written obituary back in 2003, 6 years before Jackson's actual reported death. Conspiracy theorists claim this was evidence of a long-planned hoax. Additionally, some fans point to the timing of Jackson's "This Is It" tour announcement and subsequent death as suspiciously convenient, suggesting he was looking for a way out of performing the physically demanding shows. Social media has amplified these theories, with fans analyzing Jackson's music videos and lyrics for supposed clues about his plan to disappear. The music video for "Remember the Time" features Jackson vanishing in a cloud of dust, which some interpret as foreshadowing. Others point to lyrics in "Threatened" where he says, "I'm not dead yet." Jackson's history of disguises and physical transformation through plastic surgery adds another layer to these theories. During his life, he was known to wear elaborate disguises to move around undetected in public. Conspiracy theorists suggest this skill would make it relatively easy for him to adopt a new identity and live anonymously. Despite the official cause of death being cardiac arrest induced by acute propofol and benzodiazepine intoxication, and the conviction of Dr. Conrad Murray for involuntary manslaughter in Jackson's death, the conspiracy theories persist. Jackson's global fame and the dramatic circumstances of his final years created the perfect conditions for such rumors to flourish, even though all factual evidence confirms his passing. Number 3. Tupac Shakur. Is the legendary rapper still alive somewhere in Cuba? Tupac Shakur was shot multiple times in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas on September 7, 1996, and died 6 days later. But from almost the moment his death was announced, rumors began circulating that the hip-hop icon had faked his death to escape the violence and pressures of the rap world. The conspiracy theories about Tupac's survival are among the most persistent in popular culture. Some fans point to the fact that no autopsy photo has ever been released, and Tupac was cremated the day after his death, which some view as suspiciously quick. Others note the curious timing. Tupac was shot just hours after attending a Mike Tyson boxing match, a highly public event where his presence was well documented. Much of the speculation centers around Tupac's album, The Don Killuminati, the 7-Day Theory, released under his alternate stage name Machiavelli. This album, completed before his death but released posthumously, draws its name inspiration from Niccolò Machiavelli, the Italian philosopher who allegedly advocated faking one's death to fool enemies. The album cover depicts Tupac crucified, which some interpret as symbolizing his resurrection to come. Sightings of Tupac began almost immediately after his death was reported. The most persistent rumor places him in Cuba, where some believe he fled with the help of his aunt, Assata Shakur, who has lived there as a political exile since the 1980s. Photos regularly circulate online purporting to show an older Tupac in various locations around the world. Adding fuel to the conspiracy is the sheer volume of music Tupac released after his death. While many artists leave behind unreleased material, the extensive catalog of posthumous Tupac albums has led some fans to question whether he continued recording new music in secret. Several of his posthumous songs contain lyrics that seem to reference future events, though these can be explained by clever production and editing of existing vocal tracks. Some believers point to Tupac's own words in interviews where he talked about Machiavelli representing his new persona and even joked about faking his death. In one interview, he said, "This is my resurrection," which conspiracists take literally rather than as a reference to his artistic rebirth after surviving a previous shooting in 1994. Despite overwhelming evidence of his death, including police records, hospital documentation, and first-hand accounts from those present in Las Vegas, the myth of Tupac's survival remains vibrant in popular culture. The conspiracy has been fueled further by the unsolved nature of his murder, with no one ever being convicted for the shooting. Number 2. Bruce Lee. Could the martial arts legend have staged his own demise? Bruce Lee's sudden death on July 20, 1973, at the age of 32 shocked the world and turned him into an immortal icon. The official cause was cerebral edema, supposedly triggered by an allergic reaction to a headache medication. But the mysterious circumstances surrounding his passing have fueled decades of conspiracy theories, including the idea that he may have faked his own death. Some conspiracy theorists point to the strange coincidences and timing of Lee's death. He died just before the release of Enter the Dragon, the film that would make him an international superstar. Some speculate that Lee, who was known to be deeply philosophical and sometimes reclusive, might have wanted to escape the massive fame that was about to engulf him. Adding to the mystery was the eerily similar death of Brandon Lee, Bruce's son, who died in an accident on the set of The Crow in 1993. The fact that both father and son died young under unusual circumstances has fueled theories that there was something more to Bruce's death than what was officially reported. Alleged sightings of Bruce Lee began almost immediately after his death was announced. In Hong Kong, where martial arts and film cultures often blend with spiritual beliefs and superstition, stories circulated about Lee being spotted in remote areas, supposedly living a quiet life away from the public eye. Some theorists point to Lee's physical condition as evidence he couldn't have died from the reported causes. As a martial artist dedicated to physical perfection, Lee had an extremely low body fat percentage and was known for his intense fitness regimen. Skeptics question how someone in such peak physical condition could suddenly die from an allergic reaction. There were also inconsistencies in the initial reports of Lee's death. He was at the home of actress Betty Ting Pei when he died, leading to rumors of a cover-up involving possible recreational drug use or romantic entanglements that didn't fit with his public image. These discrepancies, while likely just the result of chaotic reporting after a shocking event, have provided fodder for alternative theories. While most serious biographers and those who knew Lee personally dismissed the idea that he faked his death, the theory persists in certain corners of martial arts and film fan communities. The mystery surrounding Lee's death was further complicated by the Hong Kong film industry's history of triads, organized crime involvement, leading some to speculate about more sinister explanations. Number 1. Adolf Hitler. Did history's most notorious dictator escape his Berlin bunker? The official historical account states that Adolf Hitler committed suicide along with his new wife Eva Braun on April 30, 1945, as Soviet forces closed in on Berlin. According to accepted history, their bodies were burned in the garden outside the Führer bunker. However, the absence of definitive physical evidence immediately after the war sparked decades of conspiracy theories suggesting Hitler may have escaped. The Soviet Union contributed significantly to these rumors. Stalin himself publicly expressed doubt about Hitler's suicide, declaring to Allied leaders that he believed Hitler had escaped. Some historians suggest Stalin was deliberately sowing confusion, while others believe Soviet forces genuinely weren't certain about Hitler's fate initially. The Soviets recovered what they claimed were Hitler's jawbone and dental records, but kept this evidence secret for many years. The most persistent escape theory places Hitler in South America, particularly Argentina. After the war, Argentina under Juan Perón became a notorious haven for Nazi war criminals. Declassified FBI documents reveal that the U.S. government investigated numerous Hitler sightings in Argentina, Colombia, and Brazil throughout the late 1940s and early 1950s, though none were ever confirmed. These theories gained additional traction when it was revealed that high-ranking Nazis like Adolf Eichmann and Joseph Mengele had indeed escaped to South America. If these prominent Nazi figures could evade capture, conspiracy theorists ask, why not Hitler himself? Some accounts claim Hitler lived in a secluded compound in the Argentinian countryside, protected by loyal former SS officers. The lack of photographic evidence of Hitler's body fueled these suspicions. While the Soviets claimed to have recovered and identified Hitler's remains, they never publicly displayed the body, ostensibly to prevent the creation of a Nazi shrine. In 2018, French researchers were granted access to what Russia claims are fragments of Hitler's teeth, and concluded they matched Hitler's dental records, but this hasn't completely silenced the conspiracy theories. Some versions of the escape theory suggest Hitler and Eva Braun fled via submarine to Antarctica, where a secret Nazi base had supposedly been established. Others claim they escaped to Indonesia, or that Hitler lived out his days disguised as a monk in Italy. These theories often involve elaborate tales of plastic surgery to alter Hitler's appearance and fake identities created by remaining Nazi sympathizers. While historians overwhelmingly accept that Hitler did indeed die by suicide in Berlin, the conspiracy theories about his escape represent one of the most persistent alternative historical narratives of the 20th century. The theories reflect both the chaos of the war's end and perhaps a psychological reluctance to accept that such a significant historical figure could end his life in such a mundane way, without facing justice for his crimes. Have these famous figures truly shuffled off their mortal coil, or are they living among us, watching their own legends grow? Could any of these elaborate conspiracy theories contain a kernel of truth, or do they simply reflect our collective reluctance to accept that even the most larger-than-life personalities must eventually face mortality? What makes us so eager to believe that death isn't always the final curtain?